Hey, Paul, you're running Chris's Stride right now, right?
Yeah,
When was the last time you got to sit down with Chris Perkins or Tracy Hickman?
never.
Welcome to Boss Battles. I'm Rob Egan.
And my name's Paul Zajac.
This is where we take D&D live play and smash it together with sports commentary.
Kind of.
Today, we're going to be running through the Norrongard setting that was created by Lou Enders, and we are lucky enough to have Lou as one of the guest commentators.
Yeah, so I think today is an example of how a creator has to release some materials and let two other dudes do damage to it.
Yeah, I was one of those guys, and I have to say that just being able to work in this like really immersive world was just so much fun, and I had to give Lou such great props and credit for being able to build this sort of playground to play in.
And I really feel lucky, what other D&D players get to sit down with the creator, play through something, and get direct feedback. We're super lucky here.
We definitely are.
Yeah, thanks, Lou. We really appreciate you being on. Yeah. Okay, let's do the setup for what's about to happen.
All right, so right now we have a group of adventurers that are just traveling through the mountains. They've gotten to a mountain pass that has a watchtower that just connects a ravine. They have to decide now whether they're going to travel through the night or take rest in this watchtower.
Right, and so just as the adventure opens, the party finds something is stirring, and it's perhaps not going to be as restful as they expected.
Yeah, so enjoy. All right. So you are examining the boar. You got a 16, you said, for medicine check?
Yeah, just checking those bones.
So you see that the bones are a bit sun-bleached. They imagine they've been here for a while. From where the sun can get in, you can see the different spots. They've been picked clean, so it definitely does seem like these bones have been here for a while. However, as you're kind of searching through, you hear a snorting of sorts. And you can see that from the bones themselves, wisps of smoke and magical energy start flowing around. And all of a sudden, where the bones stand, or where the bones are, now stands a ghostly specter of a boar. It looks like it's ready to attack. So, welcome to Boss Battles. My name is Rob. I'm going to be the DM for this session. I want to thank everyone for joining today. We are going to go around and introduce ourselves, starting with Kyle. Welcome.
I'm Kyle. I'm playing Ronam, the Shatterkai fighter.
All right.
Hi, I'm Nick. I am playing Venra, the Harengon barbarian.
Okay, and Eve?
Hi, I'm Eve, and I am playing Fiven, the gnome sorcerer.
Wonderful. And lastly, Gabe.
Hello, name's Gabe. I'm playing a Tiefling ranger. A 7-foot Tiefling, to be specific.
You are playing a very, very large Tiefling ranger. Okay. And we had just started. As you are going through this mountain pass, you found this ruined watchtower that seems to be protected by a ghostly boar. It is angry. So we had rolled initiative ahead of time, and at the very top we have Ronam. You are up. What would you like to do?
Okay. Thanks, Rob. So we're just taking a break to introduce our other commentator here. Thank you so much, Lou, for joining us, creator of the Norrongard campaign setting where this adventure is set, and you were the author of this adventure, and I really appreciate you joining us. Thanks.
Absolutely, my pleasure to be here.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you, of course, I'm gonna grill you on Norrongard and this adventure in a little bit, but let's jump back into the battle.
All this has sort of happened at once, but you get to take your action first.
Yep. I see the ghostly boar start to come out and threaten my party member. I'm going to move over to engage,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to take a swing with my longsword.
All right, swing away.
Ronan is a
Swing
level
that,
1 Shatter
swing.
Kai fighter.
And that is
First
an
roll of the
18
game.
to hit.
18 to hit. That's a rather strong swing. As you're able to just hit that boar, and you know you make purchase, but there's not as much give as you would expect as your sword just passes through. You can roll damage, but it won't be as much as you're expecting that a mighty swing like that would be.
All right, so I guess Rob's role-playing some resistance here on part of the
Yep,
Spectral.
yep.
That is
Bludgeoning,
a
crit, and
hefty amount of
slashing.
damage, but yet the boar seems to shrug it off a bit.
That was nice. I like
All
that.
right. Anything else you'd like to do?
No. Gonna stay right here, keeping pressure.
Okay. Next up, we have Vendra.
All right. I will run up next to the boar, and I will take a swing with my great axe.
All right, so he's
You got
level
it.
1
All right, swing away.
Haringen
Swing.
barbarian.
That would be a crit.
Oh,
That will
Strong
definitely
opening.
hit.
yeah.
What so the great axe you're gonna do
2d12 plus 3, got a total of 8.
that's rough. Again, like you do that, the boar is able to just kind of as you bring your great axe down the board, it seems like the form shifts and sort of envelops the great axe. You know that you're doing damage, but it is not what you expect, especially from a crit.
And I will hold my ground and end my turn.
Okay.
All right, so fairly straightforward play here to begin with.
I'm going to try to talk to it.
Okay. We get
Yes.
something
Go
different.
ahead. How are you doing this? How?
He's going to kind of step a little closer and not too close. I'm a little squishy. And
It's a little surrounded.
just kind of, whisper down to it and go, "Hey, what are you doing here?"
All right. As a gnome, it's not quite whispering down as much as looking up a little bit.
Yeah, so Thiven said gnome sorcerer.
Ghostly boar.
Up a little.
So, as a gnome, do you have anything that I know gnomes sometimes have like a connection to nature and stuff. Do you have anything that you can use for that would help
I have speak with small beasts.
you? Okay.
The boar's
yeah.
not actually a small beast.
So
This is
you're gonna
interesting here, I
say,
think.
"Hey, what
Actually,
are
a
you doing?"
large
Yes.
All right, make a. Are you trying to do a persuasion, intimidation?
Persuasion.
Okay, yeah, make a persuasion roll for me,
I think
please.
Rob is just trying to honor this role play moment, and we'll talk a little bit more about it later.
21.
With a 21,
21.
you see that like the boar has like definitely a spark of intelligence or a spark of sentience in that eye, and you can see it's definitely it's watching out on the perimeter. Everyone's attacking, sees you, Thiven, and you can see it just hit the hoof, and you as you have that like sort of communicate with nature, small animals, you understand that this is a territorial thing. The boar is very much protecting itself and its home. However, it's been attacked. So at this point, you're unsure if how to resolve this by talking to the boar, but you have a good idea that you may be the last one it goes after.
And he'll kind of just mention to the party at large and go, I think it's just a little territorial. Just saying.
Okay. Taz, you're up.
Oh, okay. Well, we need this place more than it does right now, so I'm going to hit him with my short sword.
Taz is a variant tiefling with flying speed, which may come in handy in
Does
this
19 hit?
setting.
19 does hit, yes.
Okay. So let me see how much damage I do. Oh, 6 damage.
All right.
And then, oh, sorry. And then as a bonus action, I'm just gonna swing with my other short sword. With that one, I don't add the modifier, right? I just roll a d6 if I hit.
That's right. Yeah. So you're doing the two weapon fighting. So you have a short sword in either hand, right?
Yeah.
So the first one
Uh,
you can hit normal. The second one you can use a bonus action to hit. If you succeed, you do not add your modifier to it.
I'm pretty sure a 25 for a nat 20 is a success.
That is. So again, you get to roll double the damage dice.
Two
That's
critical
two
hits
nat
in the
20s
first
already.
round. That's good luck.
First round.
Round one, I know. After round one, the boar looks like a little beat up, but still a lot of rage and a lot of energy going through. It is now its turn. It's going to turn around and face Ronan and just take an attack against Ronan. Does a 16 hit?
16 does not hit.
Whew. So the boar, you can feel that like the spectral tusk goes in.
Buzz
It's
luck.
now going to run to the other side.
Can I take my reaction?
You cannot. As it goes through, it is becoming incorporeal as it runs and moves.
Right. So Rob added this in, I think, in the moment
So I just want to
to
make sure. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25.
help the boar out. I don't know if he needs help.
And it's going outside.
Here with Lou. So talking about the first round. Number one, there was a couple of critical hits there, like two in
In the first round.
in the first round. Yeah. So I mean that is unusual for the players. There were 4 attacks and 4 hits. 2 of them being critical hits, which is. I'd say that's beating the odds, right? So a good showing, and maybe that's why Rob chose to give the boar resistance to reactions, since they were digging into it, which I think is fair and kind of like demonstrates a style of DMing where you just react to what is going on. How do you handle those things, Lou? I know
Well,
some people are.
I thought
are-
that was interesting. I would have the board has as and Rob did a really good job of role playing it without saying it. The boar has the standard resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks. It also has some additional resistances: acid, cold, fire, lightning, and thunder. So it's got a lot of resistances. But he did a good job of suggesting that resistance without coming out and saying, okay, it's taking half damage from your attacks. If he hadn't, it would have been if it didn't have that trait, that would have been a much shorter fight already.
Sure. Yeah.
It's interesting what he's doing because it's written, it's a CR2 animal, but he's not using it has incorporeal movement and charge. So I would have started the fight by having the boar come through that wall and
Okay.
knock someone off on their butt to begin with. It kind of weakened the boar by letting it materialize and have 4 people gang up on it. But so pivoting mid combat and giving it, I don't know if that's flyby or
Right.
freedom of
Yeah.
movement
Yeah.
call, but the ability to
Unspecified resistance.
yes, to dash away without an opportunity attack is compensating for that.
Yeah, and so I mean that's a good point that you could have had it come in to begin with. I guess this has come up a couple of times on some of our other episodes. I think different DMing styles of like some DMs who will like create an encounter and say the encounter is set, players you have to deal with this, versus adjusting on the fly and just trying to maximize the fun. And I don't
Absolutely.
know where you lie there on that spectrum.
And there's a I tend to play the adventures as written. I want my players to be able to say that they like in the big hardcore adventures. I don't tend to change much because I want them to feel like they've actually played it and not my version of it. But there's a quote in the music business. Sting once said that songs aren't written in studios; they're abandoned there. That's where you go to leave your song, and it's not yours anymore after that. And everybody who hears it has their own version of it, their own meaning for what the lyrics mean, their own interpretation of it. So it's interesting to see this because it's it's a third level adventure, and Rob is running it with first level characters, but he's not utilizing all the traits of the animal, and he's giving it traits it doesn't have. So already this is Rob's show.
Right. That's really
I
interesting.
have no idea what's going to happen. I'm along for the ride now.
You've killed my baby. That's not my boar.
But it's not. It's not. The walls of the tower they're in actually have vines that reach out and
Yeah.
grab it, that come within 5 feet. The setup is the boar wandered into the tower, got grabbed by the vines, and died there, and so it's really pissed off because that its body is still tangled in the vines. And Rob's omitted the vines, not used the charge, isn't doing has reskinned incorporeal movement to some kind of flyby. So for first level characters, which is going to make it more of a boss fight than it would have been if these were third level characters. So
it's different.
It's been very interestingly skinned, and I'm along for the ride to see what happens.
Okay. Let's see if there's a couple other things I wanted to bring up. I liked how Eve's character, tried to engage in some other level other than combat, and
Yeah.
I think Rob, even she had this gnome characteristic that gave her advantage to deal with like small animals, and I guess there's two ways of doing that. Like that clearly didn't apply to this creature, but I think Rob tried to work with that to make it interesting, and not to just completely shut down. It's like no,
I think
fails.
it's very interesting that Rob didn't actually tell her whether it understood or give it any kind of response. So did she speak with it or not? We don't know.
She tried. Yeah.
It's a large undead, not a small animal, but she tried. It may have understood. He did not shoot that down. He went with it, and we don't know actually whether it had any effect or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Instead of just saying no, he just worked it in. Okay, that's what you did. It's still angry.
Let's head back to the battle and see how it works with round two.
All
I
right.
did it already.
So this is now we're in round 2. Ronan, you're up with Vendra on deck. You saw the
Let's go,
boar
Ronan.
run through. What are you going to do now?
That we saw the spectral boar come out of the pile of bones.
Yes.
So I'm going to assume that they're probably attached in some sort of way.
Mm-hmm.
Which they are, right?
I'd like to use my shield to try to scoop up as much as the bones as possible and pick them up.
Here's where the
because this is very hurried in the heat of battle. Give me a sleight of hand check to see how nimble and tactile you are to get that handful of bones.
I like adding in those skill checks, something other than combat.
Great.
All right, so I'm going to say you got about a quarter of those bones, being that this is again a rather large beast. It is a very big pile, but you have about a quarter of them.
Where's the head?
So the head is key here. Okay, we'll ask you about that.
Okay. And so you're going off that.
There's a lot of opportunity for danger here, right? Because there's a big fall that could happen.
I can use probably picking up the bones as my action.
Mm-hmm.
So that I'll wait till next round to
Toss the bones.
throw them off into the chasm.
Yeah, you can do that as a free action if you want to just kind of drop the bones, because as you drop something, you can say it's a free action.
Okay. Yeah, I'm tipping my shield and dropping the bones into the chasm.
All right. So that was action, move. All right, Vendra, you're up. Thibin, you're on deck.
Okay. I'm going to chase after the boar. I will stop here, blocking the entrance. Is he still incorporeal, or when I'm standing right in front of him, does he look as physical as he did when I first hit him?
Like when you first hit him, it was on movement. Okay. He has that sort of incorporeal manner about him, but now stationary. It definitely looks like you can at least take a swing at him.
I would
No,
like to rage.
Yes.
And I'm going to attempt, because he put himself right next to the edge, do a shove action. So I'm going to use my athletics, which, because I'm raging, I have advantage on. I'm going to try to shove him off of the
This is a
cliff.
good idea.
All right.
Don't know how well it'll work on a ghost, but I will try.
Yep. So you're going to roll for athletics. I'm going to do the same for the boar.
I got a 21.
Uh-oh.
The boar got a 6.
and that's the end of the fight.
Yeah. So
So
you see the look on Rob's face, right? It's like, oh,
Yep.
does this end?
Around the corner, I rage. I'm going to lower my shoulder and using the heft of my great axe, get underneath him and try to push him off the cliff.
All right. So you do that. Like you kind of go up under the boar and shove him off the edge. And you can see that the boar is just floating there in space now. That was a good.
All right, so Rob's made it part of its spectral nature is that it is,
I'll just hold it.
doesn't fall.
But we are
Note to self: Boar needs a hover
We're gonna say
speed.
that shove was an attack,
Yeah.
so it definitely still holds your rage for the next round. All right. Next up, we have Thivin. Taz, you're on deck.
All right. We tried it once. We'll try it again. Kind of creep up behind my lovely bunny friend here, and again, speak with animals and say it's okay.
Not
Go
giving
on.
that up. Not giving that up.
That's an interesting choice to didn't work the first time. I'm going to try it again. This is a difficult spot, I think, for Rob, right? He's got
Well, I
to.
can persuade it to.
I'm gonna say as a you don't need to roll for this to see just how upset this boar is. Your persuasions probably will not be able to make it feel any more or any less. And sorry, it doesn't feel any less attacked or
Yeah.
any less angry.
It doesn't feel
angry
any
for
more
it. So,
or any less.
Right.
You won't have to use your action for
I
that.
think it's fair
that
to shut
piece.
this down, right? It's an undead boar. It's not going to work to talk to it.
Ah, man, poor little boar.
She's feeling sad for the boar. She doesn't.
Very-
She doesn't
Divin is
want.
kind.
Let's see.
David is being very kind.
Yeah, I guess that's just what we're gonna have to do then. All right, we'll throw a witch bolt at it.
Oh right, yeah. So you're going to target it with a witch bolt.
Yes.
Yeah, Witch Bolt is an interesting spell in that concentration, attack roll, and then does
20,
automatic
dirty.
damage later on.
Which bolt is which bolt? Lightning?
A 20 will definitely hit. Yeah.
What is with these rolls?
From your small gnomish figure.
Yeah, I know.
My small gnomish figure. So it's a little bit of a lovely little crackle that he kind of just like a puff of wind
Very
and
nice.
then zeroes right in on that boar.
All right. So
Although spell attacks were a good way to go with this creature, right? Because it doesn't have resistance to magical attacks.
lets you also just automatically hit
Yep.
on consequent turns.
But the board does have resistance to lightning.
That's a 12.
Yeah.
The
Hit the
bolt-
button twice and it rolled 2 12s. But yes, it's a 12.
Yeah.
yeah, it looks pretty beat up now, but still no less angry than it was. All right. Anything else from Divin?
No. Just kind of look apologetically at it.
Like Taz said earlier, you kind of need this spot more than the boar does.
Yes,
Speaking
we
of
do.
Taz, you are up. Boar is on deck.
Yeah. He's more than 30 feet away from me, right?
At this point, and
35.
outside. So great use of the measuring tool. You can see too that like this is still the watchtower kind of ruined. You don't have a good line of sight from where you are.
You don't see the board at all from where.
And just shoot him down with my longbow.
Okay.
Get like an angle from up top.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's got a flying speed, so we can, imagine that he's looking over the wall, which otherwise he couldn't attack from where he is, I'd say.
Put yourself in wherever you want to be in that watchtower area, and we just know that you're up high and you're flying.
Yeah, I would just say I move up a little bit, like towards the center, and then up, basically, so I get
Okay.
a better vantage point. And then I just draw my bow and I'm gonna be like, "Sorry, buddy," and I miss.
It's like the first time they've missed this poor.
An eight.
Finally.
Right.
You're sure that you had this this target marked, but you hit a piece of the tower that was just outside of your line of sight, and it nicked the arrow enough to make it miss.
Good thing
Anything
no one
else?
else saw that.
No one else
no one
saw
saw
it.
that. I'm good. I'm good.
All right, the boar is on deck. Gonna
Charge,
go
Boar, charge.
5, 10, 15,
20. It can
20.
Charge.
And then it's gonna go
Charge.
Yeah, I
10
think it's a bunch
and
of charge.
start, and it's going to run and hit hit Vendra. So it's going to do a charge attack.
Right.
Yay!
So this is
And let's take a
Okay.
look.
finally getting use of
let's
its
see if it actually hits, though.
special ability there.
That is a dirty 20.
Uh-huh.
Okay. It's going to hit with its tusk as it goes through, and this is going to be necrotic damage. So it's going to do
Okay.
Ouch.
10 points of necrotic damage.
Yep. Ow.
I need you to make a DC 10 Constitution saving throw.
So
Glad he kept that in.
Does an 8 work?
No, nope. It's a DC 10. So in this case, I want you to reduce your health, your maximum health, by that 10.
Okay.
which is one of the extra components of the Spectral Boar.
And let's take a quick look.
And for the barbarian, it makes a difference. It's necrotic
And you're gonna
damage
take an
because he doesn't
additional
have
6
resistance.
points of necrotic damage from that charge.
I'm down.
Okay.
Oh, okay. First player down.
Boar ran through the wall.
All right.
Is that gratifying, Lou, to
You're now
have the boar
I'm no longer raging.
take someone out?
right. No longer raging. All right. So that's the end of this round.
End of round 2, the Spectral Boar finally did some of its design things. So you had put in the charge attack,
Yes.
and then that its tusk does necrotic damage. But in addition to the necrotic damage, you have to make a saving throw, and if you fail, your character gets their hit point maximum reduced by that amount of damage. And in addition, the charge does extra damage. So a deadly attack. I mean, with one hit, took down this level 1 character, which is, I guess, why you had written this as a 3rd level
Correct.
adventure. Pretty deadly.
Again, if the vines were grasping people from the edges of the walls, it would have been an even harder encounter. So
Yes, absolutely. Right. Yeah. So this round was interesting to me in that, Eve's character in the first round tried this diplomatic approach. She tried it again, but then there was a couple of other things that the other characters did to, as non-combat things, like, picking up the bones, which was, I think, the right way of thinking, because as you had written the adventure, if they were able to move all the bones outside of the watchtower, that was going to appease the
absolutely.
boar. So I wonder, so Rob's decision of like you move quarter of the bones, like how could a DM like reward that without ending the battle in one turn? Like, I'm wondering.
You could reduce some of the hit points of the boar for that.
Yes, yeah, and that makes sense.
Yep.
That right, the bone, yeah, and that would have been a really good way to do it, because then people like, oh, it's the bones, and would encourage that. Or you could even, ask a character to make a perception check, right? And then so that's contingent on, you notice that the boar looks weaker now. So it's not a complete giveaway, and also encourages things in combat that aren't just I'm smashing,
You could also the two attempts to speak with it already failed. If you started to move the bones, you might give advantage on a speak with animals attempt or something.
Right. Yeah. Hey,
Yeah,
lay off
that's
the
what
bones. Okay, maybe I'll reconsider.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that too. So the other thing that Barbarian did, Barbarian things, I always forget about the strength advantage with Rage, and I just like, I'm going to attack, right? But in this instance, like the push is a really good idea.
Yep.
And
That as written, that would have ended the encounter. That would have ended the
right,
encounter.
yeah. So when you've run this encounter, did anybody try and push the boar off the?
No. When I ran the encounter, the boar was using its incorporeal movement to come in and out of the walls, and so it never got on the. It wasn't dumb enough to get on the bridge. It would. If there's only a thin ledge outside, it's hard to stand there. So the boar would come in, charge, and then knock someone over and go back out the other wall and turn around. It was strafing them, and they're having to look around. Where's it going to come from next? So I'd never put it outside where
In
they could get
dangerous way, right?
But my players came right in, saw the boar in the vines, and said, "We're not getting near those vines." So I didn't get to use the vines at all until
Well, yeah. So
one of them tried to move the bones.
we're gonna have to run it again and get those vines involved, like because people don't like vines. Maybe that's it.
Yeah, but I thought too the flying to shoot over the wall was a good move. It's 2 stories, not got a roof, so it's 20 feet up. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there trying to work out in my head, the angle sideways is 20 feet from the other side, from the middle of the tower, enough to see over the wall. But sure.
Yeah. Sometimes you just got to go with it, I suppose.
It's a crumbled tower. You don't really know how high the wall is around its entire circumference. Maybe it's crumbled more on that side, but that was a good move. That was a good move to react to the fact that line of sight was blocked.
Watching this again or a couple of times, with Eve's character going back to like the negotiation move. Rob did shut it down. I thought he did it in like it was fair to do that. It's not going to work. You hear in D&D a lot about the improvisational yes and then the corollary is no but. So he said no. What other kind? I was thinking, what other kind of but could you do to not just discourage non-combat stuff? You could be like, she's a gnome sorcerer. You feel some sort of welling up of your sorcerer's magic. What are you going to do with that magic? And, give them an indication like you should be attacking now instead of negotiating. I don't know. Just another thing to consider.
You get a wave of hostility radiating back from your attempt to communicate with the boar. Yep.
Right. Yeah. Your well of magic is not pleased.
Yep.
Certainly, if they were a warlock, you could do that. Your patron is not happy with your.
Patron says, "What the heck are you trying to do?"
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Get in there. Okay. I think that's it for round 2. It was gratifying to see the boar get in there, do the things that you designed him to do. All right, let's see what happens in round 3.
Now we're back in round 3. Up we have is Ronan. What do you want?
Venra's incapacitated, or he's unconscious.
To the boar.
Mm-hmm.
That gonna go in swinging.
All right. Yeah.
So he's back to attacking because I guess
that'll hit.
The bones didn't completely reward his movement.
Damage.
Okay, you're chipping away at this beast. Again with the 6, it was a solid hit, but it's not doing to as much damage as you want it to. What you do see though is that this boar, what was once very much a solid specter, was very much once a very vibrant specter is starting to dull and fade. You can see that the life force or the presence of this boar is starting to fade.
All right, so he's doing, I think, a
Anything
good job
else?
of role playing
Uh,
a bloodied creature
that-
without just giving it
Turn
away.
to Thivin and tell them to help up Venra.
I like
Okay.
he's telling
Well,
other
I have
people,
to
hey,
keep it
you other
distracted.
guys, help out
All right.
the dying guy. I got attacking.
Venra, you are up. Can you make a death saving roll for me, please?
Solid Spectre sounds like a metal. Solid.
That is a fail. All right, so mark that off as one failure. Would you like to roleplay anything as you are starting to lose consciousness? Well, you are incapacitated, but yeah. All right. Thivin, you are up. Taz, you're on deck. Now, Thivin, you have the Witch Bolt prepped. Ronan said, go help Venra.
All right, she's got a
What
choice.
would you like
I
to
help
do?
my
Or if you want,
friend
you can
or
try to
attack?
persuade the boar to stand down.
Let that witch bolt extinguish.
I could totally try to persuade the boar again, but I think this time I'm going to lean over to my friend Venra and very smugly stick the potion bottle in their mouth.
All right. So, luckily for everyone, you were able to stock up before this adventure, and you each had a potion of healing. So, Devin, you're going to take yours and give it to Venra.
Yes, as my
Wonderful.
action.
All right. Can
Yeah,
you,
but, so it's an interesting question. Is it better to use your action to help somebody out or just to attack? We can get into that at the end of the round.
as this is going on, what's going through your head as you're up next? You know.
7.
Yeah.
All right, Venra, give yourself 7 points. However, I believe
I only have the ability to heal 5 because of my current limit.
Yes.
Oh, because of the boar, he
Well,
can't.
you
He
are-
can't. The potion is
Now, well, you're at
wasted.
max HP.
Part of it.
Let's look at it as on the bright side. You're at max
I'm
HP.
infinitely more better.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, Taz, you're up.
Yeah, I'm just gonna fly up above it. Right here, right here. That way it doesn't get confusing as to where I'm at. And just gonna swing with my short swords again. Same as first round.
So you're just above it, right?
Yeah,
but within
just above
melee reach.
Yeah. Like at max. I got a 14. Does a 14 hit?
A 14 does hit. Yes.
Okay, so
AC 12.
7 damage on the first strike, and then I'm
Alright.
gonna do the 2-weapon thing again.
Mm-hmm.
Just be like, see what I get. 21.
A 21 will absolutely hit.
Nice.
These rolls.
Yeah, he's hitting a lot. They're let's check their dice.
Chop into this spectral boar. It is looking like it's in rough shape. The wisps of magic are starting to really fade. The form of the boar is starting to become less and less noticeable, but it is still there and it is still angry. Anything else, Taz?
No, I just say, go to sleep already, and then I just end my turn.
Okay. So again, just to make sure, you are flying, but you're within melee range, sort of above.
I'm like 10. Yeah, I'm like 5 feet.
Yeah, you have to be within 5 so you can be hitting with those
Yeah.
swords.
Yeah.
How is
All right,
flying?
the boar is up. It is going to turn to. Let's take a look.
So this question is: would the boar just attack the same person, or would it switch?
Try to just hit with its tusk. So it's going to be like that. Does an 18 hit?
18 just hits.
All right, so you're going to take
Okay, he's coming
10
back.
points of necrotic damage, and you need to make a Constitution saving throw, please. Constitution 10 saving throw.
That is a 7.
All right, reduce your maximum
again.
hit points by that 10. At this point, the boar is going to now run its full movement. 30, 35, 40, up over to the other side.
All right.
And that's its turn.
Getting time for charge.
That's the end of round 3.
All right. Let's take another break. Okay. So end of round 3. I guess, this is a question that occurred to me before I forget. Talking about designing creatures. So the boar has all kinds of resistances. If you're designing a monster that has a lot of resistances, will you purposefully, reduce something else, like give it a low AC, low hit points? Talk about that.
That's interesting because I am currently designing several things for the Cobalt Press's new Tales of the Valiant Black Flag role-playing system.
Oh, right.
And they have some proprietary, but they'll be public when the Game Master's Guide comes out, formulae for doing exactly that, which is really interesting, and I'm loving working in. Also on that, they have a tag you can put on creatures that specific to what magic spells work on them. So when I converted this boar to their system for an adventure I have coming out in the next month or two, I put the animal tag on it so that Speak with Animals would work with it.
Okay.
I think a dead animal is still an animal, so it's undead tag animal in their system, which is really neat. It's a neat thing they've done. Like I said, specifically so that you know what magic will and won't work on it. I'm also noticing when we got the movement in, the tower is 40 feet across, and the boar was designed along with the tower. It's for this fight. So the boar's movement is 40 feet, and the tower is 40 feet in diameter. So the boar's not able to just come in, hit somebody, leave. Come in, hit somebody, leave. It won't get all the way outside and have time to turn around and come back if it does that.
Okay.
So it strafes, but it can't strafe every turn, and because of the environment, I like I don't want to just have a fight in the field. I like having interesting environments where fights can take place, and so I think I was relying on its resistances in place of any kind of a flyby, so that it is, a lot of the fighting of this as it played out for me is opportunity attacks as it runs. But those opportunity attacks are going to take, a lot of them are going to take half damage. And that's what's going to make it more challenging.
Right. Okay. Just think what other things happened in that round. So yeah, the death saves. I think just because part of the idea of this channel is maybe helping out new players. So I find sometimes people stumble over the different aspects of death saves, including myself. I get it wrong frequently. There's, when your character goes to 0 hit points, they're unconscious, and then they have to make death saves. If you make 3 successful death saves, you are stabilized, but remain at 0 hit points and are unconscious. And if you lose 3 death saves, your character dies. I think also in the rules they talk, you can get like a critical success, right? If you roll a 20, you regain a hit point,
right?
And I've seen people do it different ways, but officially, if you regain a hit point, you're not unconscious anymore.
You're back up. You're
right.
Back up.
Yeah, and I've seen people say like, oh, because it was a death thing, you'd still be unconscious. But I think that's rules is written that you're back.
It is rules. Now, are you playing Baldur's Gate 3?
No, I played it, but it's so funny. This channel is like it's like absorbing my time. I just haven't had time to get into it.
Well, I was going to say they have something where the first round, after being revived from being unconscious, you can't take an action, or you can't take a reaction. I can't remember what it is, but I'm always when my characters come back from the dead in that, they always are limited in what they can do for the next round, which is both annoying and possibly something that wouldn't be a bad homebrew rule for table play.
Yeah, I mean, I really like that if you get a nat 20, you can come up and do something, because I think it's
heroic.
Yeah, it's cool. It's also potentially discouraging if your character is down, depending on who you are. Some people like, the failure is as much fun as the success. But
It's also a syntax problem because you're not dead at zero. You're dying at zero, and you're only dead when you fail the 3 death saves. So I think there's a tendency to go up. I'm dead, and then it seems like you're just springing back from the dead every time you come back and make an attack. Especially if you're getting healed and knocked out and healed and knocked out in a long combat.
right.
That's not what's happening. You're being stunned. You're being knocked unconscious. Well, not stunned. That's another condition.
Yeah.
But you're having the wind knocked out of you. You've knocked unconscious for a second. And I think medically, people actually, when they are unconscious, they're only unconscious for a couple seconds. The knock somebody out for hours doesn't actually happen unless you've done serious brain damage. So
Yeah, I can tell you that. Yeah, that's true.
They've taken a blow. They're like, "Ugh," and then they come back from it. They punch. Yeah,
think about what you said is interesting because I assume you were in the same case as me. I think we're probably contemporaries in that I first started playing D&D with Advanced Dungeons and Dragons in the 80s, and when you hit zero, that was it. You're dead. It was bad news.
Yep.
And I sometimes changes of editions and changes of rules can confuse people too.
Yeah, I went basic AD&D and basic expert AD&D, and then jumped to 5e.
Oh wow! Okay,
Played
so
third or fourth.
and
I played other games, but I didn't play D&D in that period.
Oh, okay, all right. So you weren't playing D&D. It wasn't like you were like, I'm sticking with the old one, and then finally.
No, I played the original D&D and then Call of Cthulhu and a whole bunch of role playing games. Then I left for a long time. Then I came back and played the James Bond role playing game. If you from Victory.
I remember hearing about it, but never played it.
Yeah, it was short lived but excellent. They put out an enormous amount of product for it in about a 2 or 3 year window, and then lost the license.
Oh.
But it, and then left again. Then came back with when Fate did its big Kickstarter. God, that's like a decade or so. But that got me back into the hobby, and then from there I got into 5e.
Oh, that's okay. So in our DM's lounge, and we should talk about Fate because I really like that game, and I'd like to hear you talk about it. Okay, so just going back to the round, I'm trying to think what else. So we had is it worthwhile for a player to revive another player, or should they just attack just by the numbers?
Well, the Rob has done a good job of showing them how they're wearing it down. So that's a choice. There's not a right or wrong, but I would have probably poured it on to kill it and then revive him. He's only at one. He's only at one failed death save. There's 2 more, and there's only one opponent, so he's unlikely to be attacked by the boar. If there was 4 opponents, one of them might be cruel and stab him again while he's down. Automatic failure.
I think it's Eve's character just seems like a generous soul. Wants to talk to the boar, wants to heal her friend.
And I'm surprised that there's not a cleric in the party.
I'm gonna, don't get me talking about clerics. They just seem so boring to me. But
I'm playing a war domain in a Greyhawk campaign. War domain is boring. They keep expecting me to be like stand back and heal them, and I keep saying, "You don't get it. I'm the tank of this party."
Yes, no, I think you're right. Again, it's something I'm taking from like, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, where clerics were just pretty much boring, and but necessary if you didn't have one because you read 0 and you're dead. Okay, so then we had the death saves. We had some good use of the flying, I think, and the boar is still kind of holding its own. It's doing damage. I think I think the hit point maximum reduction is good, right? You can see that the characters are like, ugh, I don't like that, and you want them to feel like there's some real stakes going on, and that's doing it. Okay, let's get back to the final round.
Right. And now we're back at round 4. All right, top of the order. Ronum, you're up. Venra, you're on deck now that you've popped back up thanks to that healing potion.
Thank you, Steven.
All right, Ronum, what are you going to do?
Use my movement to go after the boar again.
Gonna keep at it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe they're just sensing the end is near and just
Back run up, swing.
just
That's going to
finish
be 18 to hit.
attack.
18 will hit. Yes.
Excellent.
And there's the boar standing on the
good.
ledge again.
To be max damage, 13 damage.
This boar does not look like it's in good shape right now.
So you would have had him
but still up.
phase through the battlements and just stand
Excellent.
on
And
the
that, and just to create a little bit of distance, I'm going to use my, where is it? The blessings of the Raven Queen.
Mm-hmm.
Is going to.
That's a
Damp
racial
me.
Benefit of Shatter Kai.
Back to
It's
where
like
I
a
was.
Misty Step, which
Awesome. And that's a bonus action trait,
that's pretty
right?
overpowered.
Yes.
Now, if I remember correctly, it also gives you resistance.
Resistance to everything.
Gain
if I
resistance
remember
to all damage when you teleport using this trait until the start of your next turn.
That's
Amazing. That's
that
great.
kicks in though.
All
at
right.
their level,
So that
which
is a really good turn. You run up,
they're not
hit
at
it,
right now,
bounce
but
right,
it's
bounce
hard to
right back.
remember all the details.
Venra, you're up. Thiven, you're on deck.
Venra knows no fear. Venra's going to get up from being prone, use a half her movement, and then going to move 15 feet. And be just going to be exactly 30 feet. So I'm going to throw a javelin after I rage again.
Okay.
Attempting to hit.
All right. Now remember that that rage bonus does not carry over to the javelin. So you usually have that +2 to rage, but with thrown weapons, it's only for melee weapons.
Sorry, Raging Rabbit.
Okay. That is a 17 to hit.
A 17 will hit.
Yep.
And I will do 6 damage.
It is a solid hit, but you can see that that javelin goes through the boar and actually goes all over the edge. You know that it made some contact, but it kept going through, sailing through the boar and over the edge. You have now lost that javelin, unless you want to go over the edge and fetch it.
I'm good.
Okay. That was a good turn. Anything else?
That's all my movement. That's my bonus and my action. I don't think I have anything else.
Okay, great.
It's quaking a free action.
It is, yes, yes.
Okay, I will quake in my boots without letting anyone notice.
All right. Thiven, you are up.
Well, I think he moved out of my witch bolt range.
I think so.
That's the problem. Well, Witch Bolt would be over anyway because she used her last action for
45 feet away.
healing.
Well, we'll try.
Try talking to it.
Try the
again.
firebolt instead. It's a little further. Stay as far away from it as I can.
All right, yeah. Yeah, the firebolt has a really
That's
long
the idea.
range, so you're definitely within that range.
All right.
20, dirty.
A dirty 20 will hit, yes.
7.
All right. How does it look for, as the one who was trying to really come to a peaceful negotiation with the boar, being the one that has finally brought it to peace?
It's gonna kind of apologize. It's kind of lobs it.
Move the bones.
So as you hit with the firebolt, the boar just takes on that full damage, and you can see that it is now no longer that like angry spirit. The bones you see over in the corner where they were originally turn to dust, and this boar's spirit is actually lightened and has a source of like light energy that goes through it. It has now been released and can now leave the tower. You have successfully won the boss battle, although not without some consequences. So we're going to I'm going to say thank you for joining today, and then we're going to put it over to the commentators for their final thoughts.
Okay, so final round. I did like that continuity where Eve's known character is is forced to finally
Yes,
kill the thing that she was not trying to do.
And Rob narrated all that very well.
Yeah. I thought that was good, and that
Fun
kind of
deal.
like tied things together. I think sometimes you would know better than me as published author. coming to a good end is, it's a different skill set than necessarily the middle, right? How to tie things up and make it not just abrupt or fall flat. And that was a good ending, I thought.
That was a great battle, and I think definitely the players did a really good job within that environment. It's really important to also mention that this is just one slice in a huge world that you get in Norrongard.
Yeah, that's kind of a problem with our setup false boss battles thing, right? Is you don't get the other side of D&D, which is like the expansive, cool campaigns, and really that's what Norrongard is about. One of the cool things is that this adventure is a 5e adventure, but Lou's, I know, working with Cobalt Press on Tales of the Valiant, and so this is going to be reissued as a new adventure as part of that game system. So I would definitely urge you to make that part of your game if you're going to try out Tales of the Valiant, which you should.
You definitely should. Again, Lou has just created an immersive world that is a lot of fun to play in, and now you get to choose where you want to play it in, whether it be a 5e rule set or the Kobold Press stuff, Tales of the Valiant. You can do that.
So that's it for now. And next week, we're going to have the post-game show where I talk to Lou about Norrongard, and then we talk about other gaming systems too. It's worthwhile checking out.
Right. All right. Well, until then,
see you next time.
See you next time.